My dear student, how are you? I think all of you are well and enjoy this corona situation with your parents, brothers and sisters. Please stay home and be safe. Now I will discuss about the most important topics, ITP. Before going to details, I want to discuss about the general concept of the platelet. Megakaryosis, that means platelet production. Platelets are non-nucleated, that is platelet has no nucleus. Produced by megakaryocyte, which is present in the bone marrow and other tissues. Lifespan of the megakaryocyte is only 10 to 14 days. But in case of ITP, it is only 4 to 10 hours. The platelet controlled by the thrombopoietin factor. Normal platelet count 1,50,000 to 4,50,000 per cubic millimeter of blood. When called the thrombocytopenia, if this count less than 1,50,000 per cubic millimeter, it is called thrombocytopenia. Clinically significant bleeding occurs if platelet count less than 50,000 per cubic millimeter. So remember, platelet count less than 150,000 per cubic millimeter. Per cubic millimeter, it is called thrombocytopenia. Clinically significant bleeding occurs if less than 50,000 per cubic millimeter. Now terminology is very important, asked in Bhaga board and also during long case, short case. Petechiae purpurea ecchymosis. Petechiae purpurea ecchymosis means bleeding occurs in the skin and mucous membrane. The bleeding occurs in the skin and mucous membrane is called the petechiae purpurea ecchymosis, and they do not blanch on pressure. They do not blanch on pressure and not elevated, not curative. Very important. Not blanch on pressure, not elevated, not curative. So, bleeding occurs in the skin and mucous membrane, which does not blanch on pressure or elevated or curative. This is called the petechiae purpurea ecchymosis. Now, what do you mean petechiae? Usually, measuring less than 1/8 of an inch, that is less than 3 millimeter. 3 millimeter or less than 3 millimeter. Teeny pinpoint red dots. Sometimes it called the pinpoint bleeding. Pinpoint skin bleeding is called the petechiae. That is size less than 3 millimeter. So petechiae means skin bleeding, skin bleeding and size less than 3 millimeter. This is called petechiae. PTC বা petechiae, size less than, skin bleeding size less than or up to 3 millimeter size. Now purpura, it is larger than PTC and maximum size of 1 centimeter. So purpura skin bleeding when size 3 millimeter to 10 millimeter. It is called purpura. Now ecchymosis, any bleeding into skin larger than 1 centimeter, more diffuse borders as compared to the purpura. So ecchymosis, skin bleeding larger than 10 millimeter or 1 centimeter, and it is diffuse, diffuse. So petechiae means skin bleeding less than 3 or less than 3 millimeter. Purpura, skin bleeding size 3 millimeter to 10 millimeter. Ecchymosis, skin bleeding more than 10 millimeter or 1 centimeter, and it is diffuse. Remember, it is asked in Bhaga board. Now, this is the petechiae. This is a pinpoint hemorrhage, skin hemorrhage, pinpoint, and size 3 or less millimeter. And this is purpura. This is purpura. This is petechiae. This purpura is larger than petechiae, and its size 3 to 10 millimeter. And it is also the petechiae, pinpoint petechiae. This is ecchymosis, diffuse skin bleeding larger than 10 millimeter. This is larger than purpura. So purpura in between petechiae and ecchymosis. Now causes of purpura: non-thrombocytic purpura, that is here normal platelet count, and thrombocytopenic purpura, decreased platelet count. So cause of purpura is non-thrombocytopenic purpura and thrombocytopenic purpura. Sometimes when you tell what is the cause of purpura, you think the purpura is only for thrombocytopenia, not always. So classify the non-thrombocytopenic purpura and thrombocytopenic purpura. Non-thrombocytopenic purpura is normal platelet count. Usually this is due to the vasculitis. It is called the vascular purpura. It may be hereditary, it may be acquired. In hereditary, it is called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. That is here defect in collagen type 3 in connective tissue and give rise to hypermobile joints. That is when you movement the joints, it is very lax, and associated with purpura. Purpura not due to thrombocytopenia. It is also due to collagen type 3 collagen defect. Acquired thrombocytopenia, the henoxynal purpura, it is vasculitis, due to vasculitis. Scurvy due to vitamin C deficiency, lead to defective connective tissue collagen synthesis, and other two causes are infective endocarditis and sepsis such as meningococcal septicemia. These also producing purpura but not due to thrombocytopenia. Now another cause is thrombocythemia, that is platelet dysfunction. Platelet count normal, platelet count is normal, but platelet function is impaired. It is called the thrombocythemia, platelet dysfunction. The hereditary defective adhesion, it is called von Willebrand disease. Von Willebrand disease, due to lack of von Willebrand disease or defective von Willebrand disease, platelet cannot adhere to the von Willebrand disease. Defective aggregation, this is called the Glanzmann disease. An acquired cause, chronic renal failure. Here also there is bleeding tendency due to thrombocyte function impairment. Aspirin, when you give aspirin such as rheumatoid arthritis or in case of rheumatic fever. In that case, aspirin reduce the ADP and thromboxane A2, thereby the platelet function is impaired and producing bleeding tendency. Now, thrombocytopenic purpura, remember it is asked in the Viva board, is decreased platelet count. Again, thrombocytopenic purpura may be divided into decreased production, then there is a congenital, it may be acquired. In congenital, most important is the Fanconi anemia. In Fanconi anemia, there is thrombocytopenia, absent radius, and hypoplastic radi or Wiskott-Aldrich syndrome. Here there is thrombocytopenia, eczema and immunodeficiency and osteopetrosis. And this Fanconi anemia and Wiskott-Aldrich syndrome and osteopetrosis, three are the most important cause of congenital cause of thrombocytopenic purpura. In acquired cause, there is aplastic anemia, bone marrow infiltration leukemia and megaloblastic anemia. This is decreased production. Now, increased destruction. Antibody mediated, non-antibody mediated or non-immunological. Antibody mediated, most important is idiopathic thrombocytic purpura, which is our discussion, and another one is immunological, this is systemic lupus erythematosus or SLE, drug induced quinine sulfonamide. So these are the antibody mediated. And non-antibody or non-immunological, microangiopathic hemolytic anemia, sepsis, hypersplenism, and trafficking giant cavernous hemangioma, which is called the Merit-Kazbek syndrome. Merit-Kazbek syndrome. Now, I want to discuss the ITP in details. What do you mean by ITP? ITP means, today it is known as immune thrombocytic purpura. Previously it is called the idiopathic thrombocytic purpura. Today it is known as immune thrombocytic purpura. Now, definition. What do you mean by ITP? It is an isolated thrombocytopenia. That is, there is no other cell, there is no decrease of other cell, that is RBC, WBC. Only isolated thrombocytopenia due to autoimmune destruction of the platelet following upper respiratory viral infection. That is, this is autoimmune destruction. So this is antibody mediated. And also there is upper respiratory infection, viral infection before development of antibody. So it is characterized by the thrombocytopenia less than 1 lakh per cubic millimeter. You know, normal platelet count 1,50,000 to 4,50,000 per cubic millimeter, but in ITP thrombocytopenia less than 1 lakh per cubic millimeter. Shortened platelet survival. That means normal platelet lifespan is 10 to 14 days, but here platelet lifespan of the platelet 1 to 4 hours. Presence of antiplatelet antibodies in blood, antibody and megakaryocytic hyperplasia of the bone marrow, because there is platelet destruction, so there is excessive platelet production in the bone marrow, give rise to megakaryocytic hyperplasia. Absence of other identifiable thrombocytopenic disorders, this is diagnosis of exclusion. So these 4 to 5 criteria included in ITP. Now, etiology. It is autoimmune mediated destruction of the platelet and antiplatelet antibodies triggered by the preceding viral infection. In most cases, spleen is the primary site for antibody production and platelet destruction. Now, incidence is 1:2,000, 20,000, and onset is sudden in acute ITP and insidious in chronic ITP. Usually it occurs in adolescent and may associate with SLE. Age of onset, peak age 1 to 4 hours, 4 age, 1 to 4 years, and sex is equal. Season is late winter and spring because this season is responsible for viral upper respiratory infection. Now, precipitating factors. Viral infection 1 to 4 weeks before the onset of thrombocytopenia, 50 to 65%. That is, before development of thrombocytopenia, there is a viral upper respiratory infection 1 to 4 weeks back. Then patient develop thrombocytopenia, and this history of viral infection only 50 to 65%, and 50% history may be negative. Among the viruses, most important virus is EB virus, Eastern B virus. It is short duration. If Eastern B virus infection occurs, the Plasmodium thrombocytopenia purpura is a short duration and follows the infectious mononucleosis. HIV, chronic ITP, and others such as Helicobacter pylori. Most important now, Helicobacter pylori also related with the ITP. Now, pathogenesis. Here, this is the platelet antibody. This is the platelet antibody, and it is the platelet. This antibody coated platelet. It is the macrophage in the spleen, and it received in the FCR binding site and engulfed by the splenic macrophage and destruction. Now, pathogenesis, viral infection, antiplatelet antibody production binds with platelet and circulating antibody coated platelet recognized by the FC receptor on splenic macrophages and ingested and destruction of the platelets and lead to thrombocytopenia. Now, classification. According to chronicity, acute ITP, chronic ITP. Acute ITP means acute onset and persist less than 12 months. Previously, duration is less than 6 months. Now, it is less than 12 months. Chronic ITP, insidious onset, and when acute ITP persists more than 12 months. Mind is 12 months, not 6 months. Now, classification according to severity of bleeding, but not platelet count. UK classification. Sometimes we ask in Viva board or in clinical discussion, they tell me the classification of ITP on the basis of clinical ground. The non-symptoms, incidental low platelet count. No symptoms, incidental low platelet count. Mild symptoms, mild mucocutaneous bleeding such as bruising, PTC, mild epistaxis, little or no interference of daily living. And moderate symptoms, troublesome mucocutaneous bleeding such as severe bleeding, troublesome epistaxis, menorrhagia in women, and thus interference of daily living. And severe symptoms, severe bleeding episodes such as epistaxis, melena, menorrhagia, which require hospitalization or blood transfusion, and also which interference daily activities. So, clinically, no symptoms, mild symptoms, moderate symptoms, and severe symptoms. Now, complications. Usually complication occurs in the brain. It is called the intracranial hemorrhage, and it is 50% mortality rate, and 50% of all intracranial hemorrhage occurs after 1 month of presentation and 30% after 6 months. The risk of intracranial hemorrhage highest if platelet count less than 20,000 per cubic millimeter, and history of head trauma, uses of aspirin, it inhibits the platelet aggregation, and presence of cerebral arteriovenous malformation. If these factors present, the risk of intracranial hemorrhage is high. Now, diagnosis. Again, diagnosis from history from physical examination and investigation. Now history. Age of onset. Peak age is 1 to 4 hours, 4 years, 1 to 4 years, and onset is sudden in case of acute ITP and insidious in case of chronic ITP. And present is symptoms. Otherwise healthy child suddenly develops spontaneous mucocutaneous bleeding. Mind it. Healthy child suddenly develops mucocutaneous bleeding. It is spontaneous, not traumatic. Mind it, traumatic, not traumatic. So otherwise healthy child suddenly develops spontaneous mucocutaneous bleeding. Now, this cutaneous bleeding characterized by the generalized bluish or reddish spot on the body. This generalized bluish or reddish spot on the body, site or extremity, common in anterior surface of lower extremity and bony prominence, back and trunk. So most important site is the anterior surface of the lower extremity. Mucosal bleeding, characterized by the epistaxis, this is bleeding from the nose, gum bleeding, hematemesis, vomiting of blood, melena, stool mixed with blood, altered blood, hemoptysis, cupped up to blood, and hematuria, passage of blood through the urine. If it occurs when platelet count less than 10,000, it is called a profound thrombocytopenia. And also may present with intracranial hemorrhage. It is presented by the headache, vomiting, convulsion, and unconsciousness. Now, first history. Preceding viral infection or recent MMR vaccination, measles, mumps, rubella, 1 to 4 weeks before the onset of thrombocytopenia. Very important history. But 50% cases it may be absent. And history to exclude secondary causes, you should take the drug history. Operative drugs are thiazides, chlorpropamide, and heparin. This is the selectively reduce the platelet count. And also you should take the history of skin rash. It is present in the SLE, Phenexional purpura, dengue fever. And also you should take the history of joint swelling, Phenexional purpura, and history of eczema and recurrent infection which is present in the Wiskott-Aldrich syndrome. And Ivan syndrome. This is asked in a Viva board. It is characterized by autoimmune hemolytic anemia plus thrombocytopenia. Autoimmune hemolytic anemia plus thrombocytopenia. And also you should take the history of HIV exposure. Now physical examination. Oil, alert, and prepulsile. Oil, alert, and prepulsile. There is PTC, purpura, ecchymosis, extremity, bony prominence, trunk and back. If you do the skin survey, there may be positive tourniquet test, but no failure. If present, it is mild and proportionate to bleeding. Depends on severity of bleeding. It is called the proportionate pallor. So usually pallor absent, but if present, it depends on the degree of bleeding. There is no fever, no lymphadenopathy, no organomegaly, that is no hepatosplenomegaly, no bony tenderness. So only sign is PTC, purpura, ecchymosis, and positive tourniquet test. Now this is the PTC and purpura. This is the mucous membrane, the PTC and purpura. This is the gum bleeding. This is the hematoma of the mucous membrane, and it is larger than the purpura, so it is may called the ecchymosis. Investigation. So again, investigation may divide into for diagnosis, for complication, to exclude the differential diagnosis. Now investigation for diagnosis: complete blood count, platelet platelet count is reduced and otherwise normal, that is RBC count, platelet count, TCDC, all are normal. And if we do the platelet count always less than 1 lakh per cubic millimeter. In severe cases may be less than 20,000 per cubic millimeter. If we do the peripheral blood pressure study, RBC and WBC distribution normal, decreased platelet distribution and normal or increased platelet size, very important. And there may be eosinophilia, 25% cases. So if you do the peripheral study, only you found the decreased platelet distribution and platelet size may be normal or increased. Bleeding time may be prolonged. Bleeding time may be prolonged due to thrombocytopenia. The antiplatelet antibody is positive 60% cases in acute ITP, but it is non-specific. It is positive in 60% cases. Now, bone marrow study. Usually bone marrow study not done in the ITP. ITP is the clinical diagnosis, but sometimes bone marrow study is done to exclude the other causes of ITP. So, usually not done, but done in following condition. If history and physical examination suggest bone marrow failure or malignancy, which is characterized by the severe pallor, hepatosplenomegaly, lymphadenopathy, bony tenderness. Another indication is unexplained anemia, and if you do the TCDC and if you get the abnormal TCDC count, in that case bone marrow study done. And what are the findings? In a word, megakaryocytic hyperplasia, otherwise normal. Here normal cellularity, myeloid erythroid ratio normal 4:1, normal erythropoiesis and granulopoiesis, normal or megakaryocytic hyperplasia, and increased immiscible megakaryocytes. So if you do the ask the bio board, then what are the findings of bone marrow findings? You tell the megakaryocytic hyperplasia and increased immiscible megakaryocytes and otherwise normal. Now investigation for complication, CT, MRI, X-ray brain to intracranial to find out intracranial hemorrhage if needed. If symptoms of intracranial hemorrhage, headache, vomiting, convulsion, in that case you do the CT scan, MRI, X-ray brain. Routinely it should not be done. And to exclude DD, coagulation profile, clotting time, APTT to exclude the coagulation disorders. Here it is normal. Antinuclear antibody to exclude the SLE. If new onset ITP in adolescent, if patient develops ITP, you should think patient may suffer from systemic lupus erythematosus. In that case, ANA may be done. HIV studies, high risk population. If there is high risk population or exposure, in that case, HIV study may be done. Direct Coombs test if unexplained anemia to rule out the Ivan syndromes. This is autoimmune hemolytic anemia plus thrombocytopenia. These two components called the Ivan syndromes. In that case, you should do the direct Coombs test. Now, treatment of acute ITP. Treatment outline, the counseling, specific treatment, supportive, treatment of complication, follow-up and prognosis. These are the treatment outline. Now, specific treatment. If patient is asymptomatic or mild and moderate symptoms, in that case, only observation of the patients, no treatment should be given. Because most of the patients, without treatment, without therapy, there is continuous remission occurs. Only education and counseling of the family and explanation of the benign nature of the ITP, it is self-limiting, more than 80%, avoid therapeutic roller coaster. So, if patient is asymptomatic or there is mild or moderate symptom, only observe the patient and no therapy, educate the patient and avoid therapeutic roller coaster. Moderate to severe mucocutaneous bleeding, that or platelet count less than 20,000 per cubic millimeter. In that case, treatment should be started in the hospital. And first line of treatment is IVIG, intravenous immunoglobulin. It is found in the market in the normal globulin. Dose is 0.8 to 1 gram per kg per day for 1 to 2 days. Or steroid, the oral prednisolone, or combination. Oral prednisolone 1 to 4 milligram per kg per 24 hours single dose for short course until a rise in platelet count to more than 20,000 per cubic millimeter. So if platelet count rises more than 20,000 per cubic millimeter, you stop the oral prednisolone. Or for 2 to 3 weeks or until platelet count more than 20,000, whichever comes earlier than tapered or 1 week. But it is written in the previous version of the Nelson, but today 21st Nelson, it is only write down the 1 to 4 milligram per kg per 24 hours single dose for short course until rise in platelet count to more than 20,000 per cubic millimeter. Now, anti-D immunoglobulin in Rh positive cell. If the cell blood group is Rh positive, in that case you may give the anti-D immunoglobulin. It's anti-D IV in single dose. And another option is splenectomy. Usually it is not done in acute ITP, but if uncontrollable bleeding despite all modalities of treatment, in that case you may consider splenectomy. Now supportive treatment. Avoid aspirin, ibuprofen, prevention of trauma, use of helmet, avoid competitive sports in acute stages, and avoid immunization in acute stages. Education about the signs symptoms of intracranial hemorrhage, that is headache, vomiting, convulsion, and psychological supports should be given to the patients and the family. Treatment of complications. Treatment of life-threatening bleeding episodes, that is intracranial hemorrhage, and treated by the resuscitation by the ABC method, including blood transfusion if needed, and platelet transfusion. High dose steroid, that is IV methylprednisolone, 30 mg per kg once daily for 3 days. Continuous IVIG and antifibrinolytic. Plan for emergency splenectomy from consultation with neurosurgery. So, in case of intracranial hemorrhage, you should do the resuscitation of the patient by the ABC method, platelet transfusion, high dose IV methylprednisolone, and continuous infusion of IVIG. Antifibrinolytic drugs should be considered, and if bleeding not controlled, you should consider emergency splenectomy and from consultation with neurosurgery. And in massive bleeding, blood transfusion. But if you transfuse the platelet may be destroyed. So platelet transfusion is less benefit. Now follow-up. That's clinical follow-up, laboratory follow-up. Clinical follow-up, you should the improvement, you should the vital signs, you should look for the complication, and also follow-up for recurrence. And laboratory follow-up by the complete blood count to see the platelet count. Now, prognosis. Prognosis is excellent. Younger age more likely to resolve. So, if patient is more younger, spontaneous reduction occurs most of the cases, but in adolescent more likely to develop chronic ITP, 50% cases. In acute ITP, 80 to 90% spontaneous remission within 6 months, but 20% may develop chronic ITP. In case of chronic ITP, 10 to 20% spontaneous remission, and 50 to 60% become stabilized without any treatment. So overall prognosis is excellent. Now, I want to tell about the chronic ITP. The definition: patient with acute ITP have persistent thrombocytopenia for more than 12 months. Initially, this duration is more than 6 months. But today, it is more than 12 months. So, in a patient with acute ITP, if persistent thrombocytopenia more than 12 months, it is called the chronic ITP. 20% of acute ITP present with chronic ITP. Incidence is higher in females, child and adolescents. Treatment: counseling, among the specific is medical therapy, surgical treatment, and supportive like acute ITP, and treatment of complication if any, treatment of other associated disease is present. Now, specific, this is medical therapy of chronic ITP. Steroid oral prednisolone should dose initially as acute ITP, and after 4 to 6 weeks tapered in low dose either daily or alternative day for 6 to 9 months. So in chronic ITP, steroid given in prolonged period in low doses, and IV immunoglobulin 1 gram per kg per dose every 2 to 6 weeks, but in acute ITP is only given in 1 to 2 days. And anti-D therapy should be given. And another option is monoclonal antibody, that is rituximab. 30 to 50% remission occurs following rituximab inhibition, rituximab treatment. And thrombopoiesis stimulating drugs, that is romiplastin, Altrom, Bopac. These two drugs stimulate the platelet production. Plasmapheresis and immunosuppressive therapy, such as azathioprine, cyclosporine. These are the medical treatment modality of chronic ITP. Steroid therapy, IV immunoglobulin, anti-D therapy, monoclonal antibody, that is rituximab, thrombopoiesis stimulating drugs, plasmapheresis, immunosuppressive therapy. Now, surgical treatment. With surgical treatment, splenectomy, if medical treatment fail, 64 to 88% success rate. So, in chronic ITP, if medical treatment failed, you should consider the splenectomy. Success rate is 64 to 88%. Indication is asked in the Bhayabo. Older children, 4 years or more, with severe ITP that has lasted more than 1 year, that is chronic ITP. Age is 4 years. If you splenectomy done before 4 years of age, there is chance of overwhelming infection by the encapsulated organism such as pneumococci, meningococci, H. influenzae. So, it should be done after 4 years. With severe ITP has lasted more than 1 year. Another indication is chronic ITP whose symptoms are not easily controlled with medical therapy. And another indication is acute ITP with life-threatening hemorrhage. If medical therapy fails to rapid rise of platelet count. So there is 3 indications. Now follow-up and clinical follow-up and laboratory follow-up as like as acute ITP. And prognosis, 10 to 20% spontaneous remission, 50 to 60% become stabilized without any treatment, and severe bleeding rare, less than 1% may develop intracranial hemorrhage. Now, sometimes it is given in written examination, the acute ITP and chronic ITP differentiation. Clinical differentiation duration less than 12 months, more than 12 months. Age, children less than 2 to 6 months, adult, usually in adult or adolescent 20 to 40 years. Sex, male, female are equal, and chronic ITP, female are more, 3:1. Onset in acute ITP it is abrupt, in chronic ITP it is gradual. Predisposition factors, there is viral infection or there may be MMR vaccine, history of MMR vaccine, but in chronic ITP these history are rare. There is hemorrhagic bullae in oral mucosa, which I shown in the picture. It is common in acute ITP rare in chronic ITP. And splenomegaly, in case of acute ITP absent, in chronic ITP, 5 to 50% cases it will be present. Now, investigation depends from investigation. Platelet count at presentation less than 20,000 per cubic millimeter, but in case of chronic ITP, it is more than 20,000. And average is 30,000 to 80,000 per cubic millimeter. And treatment, IVIG given for 1 to 2 days, but in case of chronic ITP, every 2 to 6 weeks interval. Steroid given is short duration, in case 2 to 3 weeks, not 23, 2 to 3 weeks in case of acute ITP, and in chronic ITP it is for 6 to 9 months in low doses. And drugs, rituximab, thrombosis stimulating drugs, plasmapheresis, immunosuppressive therapy, it is not given in the acute ITP, it is the treatment option of chronic ITP. Splenectomy not done unless life-threatening hemorrhage, such as intracranial hemorrhage in case of acute ITP. In case of chronic ITP, splenectomy done if medical treatment failed. In prognosis, spontaneous remission, it is occurs in the acute ITP 80 to 90% cases, and 20% may progress to chronic ITP. In case of chronic ITP, spontaneous remission occurs only for 10 to 20%. Now DD. Aplastic anemia, leukemia, dengue, hemorrhagic fever, and meningococcal septicemia, Henoch-Schönlein purpura, clotting disorders, hemophilia, von Willebrand disease, systemic lupus erythematosus, scurvy. There is a wide range of differential diagnosis according to presentation. Now, when you consider the dengue hemorrhagic fever, there is fever, but fever is absent in the ITP. Transient macular rash in first 1 to 2 days. There is no macular rash. There is a petechiae purpura ecchymosis in case of ITP. Then maculopapular scarlet morbilliform rash in 3 to 5 days. Mucous septicemia, fever. Again, fever is absent in the ITP. A tender pink macular rash, that petechiae and purpura and necrosis. But here in ITP, non-tender petechiae purpura, and there is no necrosis in the ITP, and prominent on the extremity, and also it is also present in the ITP. Henoch-Schönlein purpura, the purpura is palpable, but in case of ITP, purpura is non-palpable. Palpable and red purple become rusty color, non-tender, not blends on pressure, and it is also present in the ITP. Voice down distribution of buttock, lower extremities, hands are more common in the Henoch-Schönlein purpura. Most differential point is palpable purpura. Now SCQ. A 5-year-old boy presents with multiple red and black spot in the trunk and extremities. On examinations, he is playful. Multiple petechial rash on the back and both extremities, no organomegaly, no bony tenderness. So what is your likely diagnosis? What still you will take in favor of your diagnosis? Write down to differential diagnosis. How can you investigate the child? Write down the treatment outlines. So what is the key point of this problem? Key point age is 5 years. Sex is male, and presentation multiple red spots, trunk and extremity. These are the complaint or presentation. On examination, patient is playful. appearance, payful, active side, and on skin survey, petechiae, PTC purpura, petechial rash, the rash on the back and both extremities, no organomegaly, and bony tenderness. So what is your provisional diagnosis? Your provisional diagnosis, it is a case of immune thrombocytopenic purpura. So most common 2DD is, one is the aplastic anemia and another is the scurvy. Why aplastic anemia? DD, because it also may present with petechial rash, no organomegaly and no bony tenderness. But in case of aplastic anemia, there may be severe pallor, there may be fever or signs of infection. Why scurvy? In case of scurvy, there may be petechial rash on the body, but no organomegaly, no bony tenderness, and patient sometimes may be present with painful extremity. This is called the pseudoparalysis, but here it is absent. Look at the picture. This is OSPE. Look at the picture. Write down the findings. What are the findings? Multiple PTC and purpura in the lower extremity. And what are the DD of this condition? So DD of the PTC purpura, it is ITP, number 1 ITP. Number 2 is aplastic anemia. Number 3 is leukemia. Number 4 is henoxanal purpura. So number 1, write down the findings: PTK, multiple PTK and purpura on the lower limb. What are the DD of the condition? Number 1 is ITP. Number 2 is aplastic anemia. Number 3 is leukemia, acute leukemia. Number 4 is henoxanal purpura. Another OSPE is, look at the picture. What is the name of the test? What is the indication? How can differentiate from PTC from the vasculitis? So if you see that the glass slide face on the PTK purpura, and this test name is called the diascopy test. Name is diascopy test. Now what is the indication? How can differentiate from the PTK from the vasculitis? Now look at the picture. Write down the name of the test, interpretation of the test, name of some condition where it is positive. It is called the tourniquet test. Now, how to do your tourniquet test? Take the patient's blood pressure and record it. For example, systolic 100, diastolic 70. So inflate the cup to a point midway between the systolic and diastolic pressure and maintain for 5 minutes. That is, maintain 85 mm mercury for 5 minutes. Then reduce and wait for 2 minutes. Count the PTC below the antecubital fossa. A positive test is 10 or more PTK per 1 square inch. It is called the tourniquet test. So you should remember this is the petechiae purpura. This is the also occurs in the mucous membrane. This is the mucous hematoma. This is the gum bleeding. Also the ecchymosis and hematoma. This SQ is very important for exam. You should read this repeatedly, and this also important for exam. And this is asked in during bedside discussion, and this is also asked in during short case. So thank you for attending the class.